Welcome back to the shop, everybody. Since Halloween is right around the corner, and I know a lot of CNC users are producing these light boxes, I thought I'd do a tutorial that a beginner could use to produce one of those boxes for themselves. And as always here at the Hinkle Shop, we hope you get something out of this video. We hope you enjoy the video. We encourage you to give us a like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And let's get started. Understand that what I'm about to show you is one of many ways that these can be produced. In fact, as your skill level increases, you can make them very, very technical. In fact, I've made some that have interchangeable face plates, and I'll put some still photos of those at the end of this video. To begin with, we start by opening up our old friend Carveco. You'll double click on that icon and it'll open up for you. And of course, we're doing a new model up here. Click on that. We're going to work in inches, and you'll set up your width and your height in these two boxes, same as we've done many, many times before. I've chosen 6 inches wide by 10 inches high. Again, we're working in inches, not millimeters. You'll leave the resolution cranked all the way up to the right. And here's where you have a choice to make. If you're using a touch plate, you'll want your origin in one of the corners. If you're using the scrap piece of paper method, you'll put your origin in the center. It's all personal preference. Any way will work with this. While we're carving these, we'll try to use a single bit so that we don't have to do a tool change, and therefore you'll only have to zero one time. Click OK, and the model opens up. Now I've turned on the origin indicator right here so you can see it in the center. You can go to View, go down here to where it says Show Origin, click on that and it will remove that if you don't like having it on your project. Now in order to make these, I like to do these in the 2D view. So you'll go up here to the left and click 2D View Bitmap Layer, which obviously you can see it changed. Here's the 3D view with this tab. Back to 2D. Alright, so if we wanted to generate a face on here, because that's basically what you're doing, is creating a face on a piece of wood, what I like to do is go to View and go down here to Snapping and turn on Snap to Grid. Now the grid are these dots that you see here. We can set those up for whatever distance we like. In this case, they're set up for 1/2 of an inch. You can set those up for 1/4, 1/2, again, whatever you prefer. We go back to View, go to Snapping, and it will give you this drop-down menu. If we want to adjust the grid settings, we go to Snap Grid Settings, and right here we change the spacing. When you're satisfied, or once you've decided what you'd like, put in OK, click OK, and you're good to go. Now, pardon me, a face is symmetrical, but these are kind of an artistic expression. You can do whatever you'd like, but let's make this one symmetrical. And the easiest way to do that is to take your cursor arrow over here beyond the work area, click and hold down the left arrow key and slide across. You can see that I'm creating a grid line that will end up wherever I want it, but we're going to put it in the dead center. That divides the two areas for our eyes on each side, our nose in the center, and etc. Now, I obviously want my eyes in the center of this space, so we'll go over one more time and divide that again. We'll go over a third time and divide the other half. Now we have symmetry for our eyes and our nose. Now that we have left and right figured out, we need to put a line across for the height of the eyes. Now you could put one high and one low if you so choose, but I want them straight across, so we'll go up into this number section and left click again to generate a grid line. Let's drop them to about there. That gives us a nice crosshair here to put the eyes in. Now I'm going to use a circle We could use oval, we could use square, or any other shape we like, but we're going to use circle because it's the easiest one here. Click on that button. Locate your crosshair on this crosshair. Left click, pull out, drop down, and the circle is created. Come over to this side and you can actually decide what diameter circle you'd like. Now if you're used to working with radius, you can click that drop down and change this to radius. Again, I prefer diameter. 2 inches is too large of an eye, so let's do 1.5 inches. And as you can see, the circle adjusts automatically while you're doing that. So if you put 0 in there for a size, the circle disappears. Let's go back to 1.5. When you're happy with the diameter, come down to the word create and click on that. If you don't click create, your next selection will delete this circle. Click create. Now the circle is there. Obviously we want 2 eyes, so let's put another one right here using the same procedure. Left click, pull out, down, or left, right, it doesn't matter. The circle is generated. Adjust the size to 1.5. Again, create, and now we have 2 eyes. Obviously we need a nose, so here's where we might want to change to an oval here for a nose instead of round. Hover over top of the circle, left click and hold it. You'll notice a fly out menu. You can choose a circle or an oval. Whichever you choose, hover over the selection and release the mouse button. You can now see that it's changed to an oval. We'll go back over here, and again I'm just going to pick a spot and I'm going to put the nose in here. Pick a nose, that's good, isn't it? Pull down, you'll see the 2 lines come out. Release the button and you can change it. Left click, hold it down and slide the cursor left or right and you can change the direction. This will allow you to turn the oval, which is the direction we want it in. Again, create or the oval will disappear. Now go up here to your arrow, select your arrow, select off of here, over here, so that now you can see we have all of these vectors. Now the grid lines become confusing at this point, so go to View, all the way to the bottom, and you can see where it says Delete Grid Lines, or Delete All Guidelines. Click that and they'll disappear. And there you have the beginning of one of these light box faces. Now we can put a smile in there, we can do some other things, but to keep this simple as possible, I'm going to work with these 3 objects. Alright, now this is kind of boring to have 2 circles and an oval. So let's say we wanted to distort these a little bit just to give it some personality. In order to give these guys some personality, the first thing you want to do is come up here to View, go down to Snapping, and turn off the snap to grid by clicking on snap to grid. That will turn it off. That'll allow for a smooth movement that will not snap to each one of these points on your model. You can, however, continue with snapping turned on, and I'll do so that you can see the snapping effect. Go up here to this button right here, what looks like a drumstick with an arrow next to it. Click that. That is a node editing button, and what that will do is it'll allow you to change the shape of these. And you can do this with any vector, not just these circles that we're using here. If you have another project, you can do this on there too. But click on the first eye, and you can see all these crazy squares that are produced. Let's zoom in a little bit to make this easier. Now, if you hover over any one of those squares, you'll see that the cursor changes to a box with some lines coming out of it. I don't know what they call that image, but that's what I call it. If you left click on any one of those squares, here, here, and here. Hello, Atlas. So as I said in the past, when you're editing with a dog, it's a lot of fun. But if you hover over that square, left click and pull down, you can distort the circle, as you can see here, quite a bit. Now if you mess up and you're not happy with that, you can go up here to the undo button, click that, and it will put the circle back to where you started. Just like so. Now if you grab these squares, these are called handles, you can turn these and distort the image as well. Pretty cool, pretty much any direction. But I'm pretty happy with this just about here. So let's get off of there and click on the next circle. And let's try to reproduce that by swinging this handle in to create almost the same looking eye. Alright, that looks pretty good. That nose looks kind of boring, so let's do something with that. Again, back to the node editing button. Click on the image. Let's grab the middle here and push it up in the air and see what happens. That looks a little better. Looks more like a face. So we'll go back to the normal arrow and click off so the vectors are there. Now obviously we need a mouth in here. Let's go back to the oval and put one of those in. Pick a spot, stretch it out, drop down, and the oval is created. Again, make sure you click create or your next move will delete the oval. Go to the arrow, click off of it, re-click the vectors. It'll give you the crosshair so you can move the oval into position. Looks pretty good right there. Let's go back up to the node editing button because that really is a boring mouth. Let's grab him in the middle and pull him down and distort him. There you are, just like that. That looks pretty good. And like that, you have a face, a lightbox face. The next step is toolpaths, and these will all be area clearance toolpaths. So come over here, click your cursor, then click on toolpaths. Scroll down to area clearance. Click that. Come back over, and because we're going to use the same tool, you can click on the first set of vectors, push shift, click on the next one, and so on until you've chosen all of them. Now we'll go up here. Our start depth was 0. The stock material is going to be 3/4 of an inch thick. So the finish depth of cut will be 0.75 because you want to clear those out completely or the light won't shine through. We have to add a tool. Let's use an 1/8 inch end mill in this case. Select it. We're typically using pine to produce these. It's soft so you don't have to adjust speeds or feeds. Let the computer do that for you. You're going to want to change this to offset. You don't want a back and forth movement. You need to set up your material. We're using 3/4 of an inch, so 0.75. Click OK. Name the toolpath. Let's just call it face here. Calculate. And as you can see, it's going to remove that material to create the openings for the light to pass through. Now I always simulate, so click toolpaths. Scroll all the way down to simulate toolpaths. And as you can see, we now have a light box that you can build a box around and have one of those cool boxes that you're seeing all over the internet. Well, I hope this tutorial helped you to make one of these things. I hope you learned something. Give us a like, a share, and a comment. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one.